Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers. Man, oh man.
It's been a morning.
Bro.
Oh, man.
I'm making sure everything is plugged. I'm very ginger.
I can't even get started.
My nerves is bad. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. I wish y'all could have just seen the shit that's been coached today.
God. I need to be coached.
Oh, my goodness. What is...
Welcome to another episode of Sippin. This is what he's been doing all morning long. It's been a morning. I am perspiring. Not perspiring. Man. Perspiring.
I'm laughing myself into a headache.
Oh, man.
Welcome to Sippin on Excellence, y'all, with Coach KJ and Doc.
The Doc.
Dude, we are happy to be back. We recording bright and early this morning, but it's all good, man. It is all good.
It is now. It is now.
Yeah, finally.
We are officially into it.
Right.
It was a rough start.
Oh,
today.
man. It's we're glad to have you guys with us each and every week. Those of you who joined us on our live, thank you. Continue to support us on IG Live every Saturday at 11. We get into, it's turned into a whole second podcast.
Oh, my God. Yesterday.
We talked for almost an hour.
Yeah. We usually do like 25, 30 minutes. Yesterday was 45, 50 minutes.
The more feedback we get from you guys, the more interaction, the more shit we got to talk about.
Right.
And yesterday's ended up just flowing all over the place.
Yeah.
We touched a couple nerves. We'll talk about some what's wrong with y'all today that came from that. It stemmed into conversations I had last night.
Right.
Man, I didn't realize how touchy those subjects were, but it's what's out there now, man.
It's touchy because nobody wants to touch on it.
True. People are afraid to talk about it. They talk about it in their closed groups, their little friend groups. People won't put that shit out in public.
Yeah, because you're looking for someone to side with you.
Yeah.
And as opposed to figuring out what's on the other side.
Well, and it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
It's okay to just not be agreeable.
Right. We don't go into hatred mode.
No, it's just like, I don't agree with you. We're good.
Yeah. I think that's what happened, especially over the last, 5, 6 years.
Yeah,
7 years.
It's been getting a little bit nutty.
Think about it. Trump was in office 2016. He got voted in 2000.
Yeah.
That's 7 years ago, man.
And we're already up on another election cycle. That's
right.
It's gonna be a shit show. There's like 50 cats trying to be Republican.
Trying to be Republican.
Yeah.
And not trying to be president.
No, trying to be Republican.
Trying to look like, what does it look like anymore?
But here's the craziness. I was talking to some friends yesterday, and both those motherfuckers are old.
Yeah.
You got one that's going to be 80 and the other one's 78 or 77. Come on, man. Why can't we just have some young cats that...
Why can't we just have a whole new
set of people?
Right.
Let's just...
We've talked
Democrats,
about
Republicans, y'all are old.
House, Senate,
everybody.
All of that.
Clean house, put some young, fresh ideas in there and realize, not to be old people bashing, but y'all can't make decisions. Y'all don't decide on shit.
No.
It's like y'all are in survival mode. Right?
They decide on how it fits their house.
Yeah.
Not even the nation's house or the people that voted them in, how it fits their household. How it serves their household.
Yeah.
What it looks like in their household.
Yeah. Not the government house.
No.
Yeah, man. Anyway, man, how was your week, man?
Outside of this morning, it was pretty good.
Anything in particular that crossed your path, that taught you a lesson, that you taught somebody else a lesson?
Let's see. What did I learn this week? It's so early in the morning. I can't remember. what I realize is that with my clients, the people that I train, the ones that I spend time just training, it is still way beyond just training. It is so, it's training fitness is just minute to it. It's just that's the process they've chosen. I still, regardless of being a coach and doing coaching, I find myself still in that space of coaching more than just training.
Yeah.
And it's, I love it.
That's
man.
your wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, it's,
Like we always talk about finding your purpose.
Yeah.
It's your profession has led you to your purpose. Your initial start with, but if you think about it, when you were in haberdashery, dressing guys, clothing, you were kind of coaching men at that point in time.
I was.
You didn't look at it as coaching. It was just, it came to you.
Yeah.
If you look back on it, you're like, damn, I was coaching these fools that didn't know how to dress or didn't know what size shirt they should wear or whatever, or what's going to look good on them. Fast forward when you start training, it's like bartenders. Bartenders make good drinks, but they're also they're also therapists.
They are very much
Right?
so therapists.
And with personal trainers, a good personal trainer ends up doing more than just training that person, because people will say things, and as you know, will talk to their trainer about things they won't talk to their spouse about. They can talk to you about work, because people, when they're working out, they like to vent as well.
Yeah.
But
also, when that blood starts circulating, when that mind starts flowing, that energy, they find feelings. They find, inner thoughts. They become more vulnerable. When there's something about also, I noticed that like hip hinging and loading and stuff like that, there's a release of emotion with people.
And question here.
Crazy.
Is there a code? Like in medicine, we have HIPAA. Whatever you tell me stays with me. It's against the law for me to say anything. In the personal training space, not even the coaching space, because we know it's there for the coaching space, but in the personal training space, is that hour and a half you're with the client, is that protected? Like,
100%.
confidential. This is me and you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And there may not be any laws surrounding it, but I think there's ethical.
There's ethics. There's because you don't want to infringe on somebody's connection with you. You want them to.
You want to be a safe space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I hate that word "safe space" at the same time, but I know
that's how people look at it.
Yeah.
Especially
somewhere
women.
I don't have to worry outside of this space.
Yes, especially women. Women have this thing that they want to feel safe, and protected, and so if they feel safe in the hands of their trainer, they're going to open up more. They're going to be willing to expose themselves to their faults, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get them past that.
Yeah, so that way they can win. Yeah. It made me think about a lot of the women that I used to train in home when I lived in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. They have kids, they have a husband, they're stay-at-home moms, but they have like 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 kids. You know, and they're all over the place, and they have all these things. The one thing they're looking for is adult connection.
Yeah.
And they will not let you leave. It's like,
because they don't get to have that adult conversation. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you're with your kids all day. Like, for example, when my sister-in-law had kids and she was taking time off from work, for maternity leave, whatever, right? She's like, after being home with this baby for 3-4 weeks, after a while, he's like, damn, I just want to have an adult conversation. By the time, my husband gets home from work, I'm spent. And so after the second kid, she went back to work way sooner. She's like, screw this. We got nannies. Right. We got a grandmother.
Right. We can afford this.
We got a nanny. You got my mom. Right. I'm going back to work.
Yeah.
It's just, we forget how much we crave that human connection. And I think that's going to lead us into a topic later on down the road about being alone versus being lonely.
Right. Right, right. And not just it's we don't respect it when we have it.
Yep.
We expect it, but we don't respect it.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's a problem.
Oh, for sure.
Because when it's gone, it's like, oh shit. Where you at?
Mm-hmm.
I was here all the time, but you decided that it wasn't for you at that time, so it moved on.
Yeah. I would say this week, man. You know how my week went.
Yes.
But one thing I learned is I don't care how tough an exterior somebody has. You touch that vulnerable button and they will break down and cry like a baby. Like the guy I was telling you about who, young man who I had to tell this week he had cancer. Excuse me, y'all. But and he's this tough, tatted from head to toe, been to prison. He's been in the system. He's and not that I'm telling you tatted head to toe because you'll get the idea. You know, he's got tats on the forehead. He's got the teardrops. He's got the whole nine. You know,
tough exterior.
But when he started talking about his son, and I don't want to die.
Right.
When he said that to me and he started crying, I was like, we spend even the toughest of the tough. They're still human. And we think, oh, we can just spring it on him and be like, he's going to be all right.
That's when they learn to
be real. Yeah. Coach is wearing a shirt that says be real on the front. I don't think people know how to be real in a world full of fake.
Yeah.
We haven't learned how to be real, but there's moments like that. And here's the interesting thing. I went to see him, and his oncologist is the cancer doctor had seen him before me.
Okay.
I walk in, he's on his phone going down a rabbit hole because he's Googling his now diagnosis. And this is before I sent him home yesterday, and he's like crying as I walk in the room. And he's like, you know, I was told I got stage 4, and that means it's everywhere, this and the other. I was like, no. I was like, he's like, it's a death sentence, and I don't know, I'm not going to be here. I was like, no, that's not what we're telling you. I'm telling you, you can get treated. I can't tell you what that treatment's going to be or if it's going to work. But stage 4, all stage 4 means is that you have a primary site where the cancer started, and now it's spread to a distant site. Doesn't mean that it's everywhere.
Right.
So we don't know the primary site, but it's in your spine. So because it's in your spine is why it's stage 4. It's not in any of your other organs. We haven't found it anywhere. And he's just like, oh. And then he let off this sigh of relief. He's like, man, thank you so much for just breaking that down for me.
Old Dr. Google.
You know, he's like, thank you so much. Exactly. It'll get you in trouble. We've talked about that. Mm-hmm. And he was like, thank you so much for just breaking that down for me. But then he's like, so what's next? I was like, go home, kiss your kid. And I was like, you have 2 jobs now. He's like, what is that? I was like, you only have 2 jobs. 1, focus on your health and your treatment because it's going to beat you up. 2, focus on being the best dad to your 9-year-old as you can be for as long as you can be because he needs you to be a dad. He doesn't need you to be anything else. And then he just started boo-hooing. I was like, now you get it. So your fight is not just because you want to be here. Your fight is because you need to be here for your kid. Nothing else. So all this knucklehead shit you do, it stops now. You have 2 jobs. That's it. 2.
Yeah.
And
she is only going to follow suit of what he needs to do.
You know, I was like, that's your...
Because you told me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So.
And I was like, that's your job. You got nothing else. Whatever. I was like, you're going to see one doctor this week. You're going to see me next week. He's like, man, I don't have anybody, you know. I was like, no, you do.
What does it mean doesn't have anybody?
In his life to get him through this.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you do. I was like, you got me and you got your other doctor. I was like, whatever questions you have, whatever you need guidance on, that's why I'm here.
Interesting.
I was like, you feel there's nobody in your life that you can go to?
That's
well, now you can go to me.
But that's interesting because that's bigger implication of what's going on.
Oh, 100%.
Which, the tattoos, the exterior, the tough, everything that he's created to show that he's tough,
But I guarantee you, outside of that hospital room, he's never told anybody, I don't have anybody to go to.
No.
And so
100%.
my next step with him is making sure that he gets set up with a psychotherapist who can get him through what he's about to go through.
What part? He would tell me later.
Yeah.
Because a therapist would be most advantageous.
And I might need you to help me with that.
Okay.
But anyway, so I learned this week that even the toughest of the tough has that button that can be pushed to break them.
Yeah.
And for somebody who's, I'm tough, I'm not scared of dying, I'm not scared of this, the minute you say cancer, they're like, oh shit, I'm scared now. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to be scared.
Right.
And that's what I learned this week. It's okay to be scared. I will say,
it's a human emotion, man.
I will say, when I got my diagnosis, I wasn't scared.
Okay.
When it came back, I was scared.
Okay. Yeah.
Because of my thinking in my mechanical brain, I knew there was a mechanical fix. I was like, fix it. Cool. Once it was fixed, I was like, we're good. When it came back, I was like, ooh, maybe it's not fixed.
Yeah.
Oh. And then my mind started thinking about all the possibilities. I'm like, I'm too young for this shit. Okay, well, let's fight it. But I'm still too young for this shit. What do I do now? And then I would say that fear turned into determination, which turned into, okay, I just got to get through this. But these are all things that were going on in my head that nobody knew about. I didn't talk to my brother. I didn't talk to anybody. I just said, you know what? I'm going to figure it out.
Oh, I know.
And like you, I didn't tell you till it was done, till it was over.
Yeah, I would have been, because I think I had that space a little bit more than probably even your brother. Is like I will probably get into you. You're like, man, you need to back up. He would be back. You need to back up. You too close. You too close.
But I did reach out to Coach at my weakest moment, which was at the end,
right,
where I was at that stage. I could say I was officially broken. And I was like, all right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I
didn't realize it was to that level.
Oh, I was fighting. And then I was officially broken at that stage. And I was just like, okay, something's got to give. I can't continue like this because this is not fun. And then we just started.
Yeah.
Dude, pick up some heavy shit.
Yeah.
Really? I can't even do a pull-up right now.
Yeah.
You didn't know until we hit the gym, like how weak I was.
Oh, I had an idea. Yeah. Because I've never trained it, but I've been around it before. So I had an idea, but I was like, okay.
Like, all right.
Let's just see where it's at.
We're just going to start.
Yeah. That's
and I didn't know where it was.
Yeah. That's why you just start.
Yeah.
You find out,
Yeah.
It's like you go in for a massage and you have a massage therapist and they start off and they're just so easy and so ginger. And you're like, can you go a little harder? Can you go a little harder? I said, can you go? You know what? It's okay. Let it go.
But I will give credit to where credit's due with Agostina, who kept me moving during that when I couldn't do shit. She would come to my house every Saturday and just, all right, let's go. 6 a.m., whatever it was. And we'd go outside and she's like, let's just move. Mm-hmm. And so that I'll give her credit for. But then when it was time to, okay, I need to really step this up, she had reached what she could do for me. And so that's when I reached out to you like, okay, sometimes you got to switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I learned that it's okay to not be tough. And when I saw it in him, the toughest of the tough, breakdown, I was like, oh, he gets it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
It really is.
Anyhow, this wasn't supposed to be about me. So,
I know.
but it was relevant to that story.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, it's a story that people need to hear because it's a side, a side they see of you, but also a side they need to see of themselves.
Yeah.
And what they may not be trying to identify with, or they might be running away from, maybe they need to step into a little bit more. Maybe they need to address themselves differently and then also address others differently.
And I think people, especially men, won't show that side of themselves or open up like that out of the fear of being called a simp or soft or whatever. And just going to lead us to our topic at some point today. We'll get to that. But I think we got to do better about just not necessarily being overly vulnerable, but finding that outlet to express yourself. Yeah. That kind of thing.
Well, I honestly believe the fastest way to recovery and the fastest way to healing, the fastest way to becoming stronger is your vulnerability.
True.
But it's not this outpour and outcry of, wanting and constantly shedding these layers. And come on, man, you're just getting to the basis so that way you can recover from it.
Yeah.
That's it. When you go to the gym, you lift heavy, you train hard, you tear down the muscle, you make the muscle vulnerable. So the bone, so it can re-heal, regenerate, and recover and get stronger.
Right.
That's it. Ain't nothing else. I mean, that's the same thing we're doing. The same with the temperament.
Yeah.
It's not trying to. I just hate the idea that we use this word vulnerability and it's like you're either so sensitive or that's what you should do.
Well, people look at vulnerability as a disease.
Yeah,
It's not.
No, it's not. I look at everything just practical, man. Just practical knowledge, practical information, practical usage.
Well, let's before we get into the topic, let's talk about this drink and then a couple what's wrong with y'all's.
Yeah, let's talk about this drink.
So
I'm scared to pick it up.
Yeah, so we decided it's early in the morning. We decided to go with a Mexican coffee. Any of y'all out there who know what it is, know it's tasty, but it's black coffee, half ounce of tequila of your choice. We use a reposado. They say use a gold. I'm not a fan of the mix. I like keeping my shit pure.
Okay.
And 3/4 ounce of Kahlua, and then you dump in some sugar to taste.
Yeah.
And stir it up, drink it hot, and this is your morning get up with a little extra.
You see how I'm picking it up,
man. Cheers, brother. And it is tasty though. I will give you that. Don't give us a little energy and a little liquid courage to talk about what we're gonna talk about today.
Man, we haven't even gotten to what's wrong with y'all.
Oh man, so y'all out there who've been following us know that we talk about stuff that we'll either hear on the news or we'll see on social media that just makes you say WTF. Right.
And there's a lot of it.
Oh, so most recently we were talking about this on the live the other day. In this school, well, first of all, the new terminology that people are starting. Why does everything have to have new terms, new PC terms? I can't just call you a pedophile because that's put people in a vulnerable state of being vilified. Well, you like touching little boys or touching little girls, you should be vilified.
Yeah.
But now they're calling them minor attracted persons, MAPs.
That is sad.
Now,
that is absolutely sad.
And this psychologist was actually on air. She's a psychologist at a school who was talking about.
So, I mean, she's amongst the children.
Yes, who was talking about there's nothing wrong with somebody who just finds a 5-year-old attractive. And we need to stop vilifying them because it's just the way that they feel and think, even if they don't act on that. But that's the most ridiculous shit I've heard, because everything starts with a feeling before you effing act.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, if I'm hanging out with somebody and they're like, man, your son's looking good over there, I will break your fucking neck. You're talking about, and what's going to end up happening is they're trying to find a way to decriminalize pedophilia because it's just a feeling. So child pornography, wanting to look at pictures of little kids, all this, they're trying to find a way to decriminalize it. Now, who in their right mind is going to do that? You and I talked about this the other day, how, and I'm not trying to put it out there, but if you start letting people get away with pedophilia, I guarantee you the assault rate is going to go up 10,000-fold.
100%.
The assault on kids, but the assault of adults on adults who are the parents of these kids.
Correct.
Is going to go up 1,000%.
Correct.
And so whoever's idea was the ultra left or the ultra, probably not the ultra right, probably the woke ultra left, who says, well, these people are just people, and so what if they are attracted to minors? How about I punch you in the face? I'm not a violent dude, but that's just disgusting. And that's my opinion. And it's sad that we can't have these conversations. Hopefully they don't hopefully they don't cancel our podcast because I said pedophiles should not be called minor attracted persons.
Nobody can cancel us.
Yeah.
Not for that.
No.
Because that makes absolutely no sense.
Dude.
Dude. You want something that doesn't have full development yet. You have got to be kidding.
And I heard somebody once say that it's just socially unacceptable. That's why. No, it's fucking wrong.
It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Right and wrong. I don't care how you look at it.
Because that behavior and that wanting, that came from something that happened to you. That's lineage. That's down the line. There's
something wrong with you.
That's something wrong with you, and it was passed along to you.
I mean, anytime you have this guy who's out there talking about, he's a known pedophile and child molester, who was talking about who he would prey on. Like, he knew who he could tackle. Kids that didn't have a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. He's like, kids that didn't have a father in the home. These are all people these are the kids that he would target. And that's crazy when you get somebody publicly saying, here's who I target.
Which is interesting. Now you understand why. It gives you a look in the looking glass of why, like, priests, why ministers, why people of the clergy, period, because they have a power. They have an oversight of the church. They see what's coming in. They have a vision of everything that's happening. And if they have that inkling.
But think about this too. If you look at the priest in the Catholic Church, this is why I think the Pope was like, I'm going to start letting priests get married now. They don't have to do this whole celibacy thing because you're a man first and you got all this pent up testosterone and desire. Your desires don't go away because you are a man of the cloth.
It gets worse.
When you say you can't have something, it gets pent up. It's not like,
That's why priests are chain smokers.
Dude, it's just
because there's pent up energy.
Yeah. And then you put them around all these little boys. You don't have them around a bunch of little girls. You put them around a bunch of little boys. They're going to just.
Yeah, it's a level.
Eventually, there's going to be a couple bad apples that are going to be like, I can't fight it no more. Come here. And it's just, it's kind of crazy. And this is why my nephews, when they were little, were never allowed to spend the night at somebody's house. My brother and his wife are like, nah, y'all can. He's like, I don't care if your friends come and stay at my house. He's like, I know I'm not touching little boys or little girls. He's like, but I don't know what somebody else's parents will do. or if they're older siblings or do
Fair
something.
enough.
He's like, so I can control the situation in my house.
Right.
I can't control the situation in others' house. Now that my nephews are older, they can be like, nah, get up off me. But when they were little, you know, he's like, they're not spending the night anywhere. They can go to a birthday party. They can do these things. But when it's time to come home. Because people are crazy. And the people you least expect are crazy. Now, here's the question. Remember how when we were growing up, that wasn't really a thing. Or if it was, it wasn't something that we were overly concerned about. Your parents used to let you ride your bike wherever you wanted to go. You could walk down the street and come home when it's dark. You could do whatever. I think people are crazier now.
Yeah. I 100%.
I think people are crazier now.
People are more expressive of their inner demons.
Yeah.
As opposed to just their thoughts, their inner demons.
Yeah.
They're letting them out. You know what I mean? Listen, it's almost like Dawn of the Dead, bro.
Yeah.
It's like those things that you thought you buried deep inside.
Yeah.
They're all just festering up.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. But you know what? Somebody's going to get shot.
For real.
Yeah.
You going to fuck with the wrong kid. And
yeah. It's almost like it
gotta go.
It made me think about these home invasions. Like people all of a sudden got comfortable doing these home invasions. Like no big deal. You know, the people go out and mess with kids like it's no big deal. People doing, but we never hear about the stories about people that shoot back.
No. You don't hear those stories.
No. And you won't hear about the stories when these parents start
whooping that ass.
Yeah. Because it's going to happen.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely going to happen.
You know what also reminds me of? Remember when Obama was elected president first time? And at the same time, Florida made it the right to carry open arm, to carry arm.
To concealed weapon.
Yeah.
Open carry.
Open carry.
Yeah.
I was like, we's going to die now.
Right.
And what happened after?
Plus stand your ground.
Yeah.
I just have to feel threatened and I can shoot you.
What
You don't even
happened?
have to come
What
at me.
happened after that? Trayvon Martin
Gets blasted.
Yep. I said that's the first thing I thought of.
For being assaulted, and when he fought back, he gets shot. Stand your ground.
Yeah.
Oh, we in trouble.
Yeah.
We've been in trouble for a long time. This country has been in trouble for a long time. We are in trouble.
Troubled souls, bro. Troubled souls.
Let's get to this topic today.
Yeah, let's dig in.
I had to get close to the mic and use my non-simp voice. So, in case y'all are wondering, our topic today. Why did he just take the words out of my mouth? He knew it was coming.
Simpin' ain't easy.
Oh my God!
What song was that?
Pimpin' Ain't Easy is the song.
No, Pimpin' ain't easy, but somebody said Simpin' ain't easy.
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway.
And we even tried to find simp juice to sip on today, but we couldn't. Thank goodness. Because simp juice is internal.
Yeah, all the pictures we saw, they were like juice boxes.
Juice boxes that said simp juice. Oh, and the one, it was the milk carton that somebody made. It said simp juiced, and at the bottom it said stay thirsty.
There's some creatives out there.
Oh
man.
my
They
God!
are
Shout out to y'all, whoever you were that made that. I gotta find it.
Simping, man.
So,
talk to me about this simping shit.
So right now, all over the internet, everywhere, you know, people are talking about simps. That's the new term for these soft cats, and
it's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while, but now it's out there because there's this push on strong women and, you know, nice guys. And I think first we need to define for the audience the true meaning of what a simp is. And I know Coach went down a rabbit hole looking up what a simp was. And
yeah, I found a few. You can go ahead and look.
Yeah, I'm a Google.
Yeah, you Google. Oh, Dr. Google over there. But I found that simping is pretty much someone that is soft to the knuckle.
Yeah, the Oxford Dictionary just says a silly or a foolish person.
A silly or a foolish
That's where we're going to
person.
start.
Yeah, you know, and that It's been more correlated with men, but there's
there's some simping women out there too.
simping everybody.
And if you look at what it says here, it says simp is an internet slang term describing someone who shows excessive sympathy and attention toward another person, typically someone who does not reciprocate the same feelings in pursuit of perfection or sexual relationship.
Right.
And of course, the Urban Dictionary, folk, defines a simp as basically someone who does way too much for a person they like. Now that we got that, let's get into this shit. And the reason why I say let's get into this shit, because as a man, I think a lot of men get a bad rap for being called a simp when they're nice to a woman who just doesn't want them. You know, and now here's a question. Is he a simp if he's doing things for a woman and she's taking advantage of him, but he doesn't know it? Does that make him a simp? Or does he become a simp when he knows he's being used and he continues to do it anyway?
Right.
You can't fault a dude for being a nice guy or just being catering to a woman that he's really into if he doesn't know if he's not seeing the signs that she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
But would he consider himself being in a relationship with that person, or is he just doing things for her because he just cares for her?
Maybe he's just doing him.
Maybe.
So I'll give you an example. You know, I look back on, I'm just looking at my life. I look back when I was young. I was a real nice guy. At least I thought I was. And there may have been some things I've done where, for example, I remember I was probably 19, 20 years old or whatever it was at the time. And there's this woman who I was just like, whoo, smitten. I was like, you know, sort of infatuated because of her, everything about her stature, everything. Right. She was the hot chick.
Yeah.
And she would always sort of come around when she needed to feel, I told you about this, so needed to feel better about herself. And then once I gave her that uplift, because, you know, I was broke. I couldn't give her shit, but
you gave
my
her
time, which is the most precious thing,
right.
And just being the guy that I am, I was a nice guy. And so when she needed that uplift, she would be around. When she felt good about herself, I wouldn't hear from her. And I found myself finally was like, oh, motherfucker, you're getting played. Would that make me simp-like? Looking back, yeah, because it was one-sided. She would give enough attention to keep me going, but not enough to make me happy about the attention.
Right.
But yet I was still kind of hooked, and maybe it was more sort of, oh, now I'm challenged. Maybe I really want this woman.
Interesting. I don't know if I would.
I feel like I was a simp.
Looking back, you can probably say, yeah, you were a simp. But truly, were you a simp? Because did you recognize, or were you just blinded by the beauty?
I was blinded by the booty.
Oh, shit. Oh, boy.
Is it the beauty or your booty?
The booty. Yeah. Yeah. That has its effect.
And sadly enough, never saw the booty.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah.
I had a couple of those.
Yeah, it's just, you're just kind of like.
And you try.
Yeah.
And you know, you thought you was Will Downing.
Yeah, right.
I tried to do the best I can for you.
Oh, if y'all don't know who Will Downing is, y'all missing out on some good ass music. That's real R&B.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I remember my brother and our friends used to always be like, dude, you got to stop being so nice to these broads. And I'm like, I can only be me. And so after a while, I started realizing I can be nice and respectful without being a simp.
Yes.
And then you realize it's funny. Women don't respect that shit. And what I've realized is that, and not all, what I'm saying is, when we're young,
Yes.
women haven't been kicked in the shins enough by a shitty dude to recognize a good dude.
Let alone
or respect a good dude.
Let alone us being nice dudes.
Yes.
And not being kicked enough to know that what we're doing is too much.
Yes. Exactly. You know, and so what I started realizing is I'm not going to change who I am. I'm still going to be a good dude. I'm just not going to be a good dude to you if you're not a good woman.
Right. It's you know, it always reminds me when people always ask, as far as, especially with training, I always say, I am friendly to you when we train.
Right.
But I ain't your friend. I'm not here to.
Dude, I've heard that many times from this dude.
We
We cool, just not right now.
Not right now. I'll be your friend before the hour and after the hour. But the paid hour, I'm friendly.
Yes.
You're not getting anything else.
But it's when I look at a dude who's a simp, it's that guy who is in the friend zone.
Oh.
He's that guy who a woman's pushed in the friend zone, who she calls whenever, you know who's the perfect example of a simp? Did you ever see the movie My Best Friend's Girl?
My Best Friend's Girl.
Dane Cook.
Yes. I've seen him bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So his boy was the simp.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Who was in the movie? Kate
Hudson.
Kate Hudson. Mm-hmm. Dane Cook was the asshole.
Right.
Kate Hudson was the girl. And the dude from American Pie was the simp.
Jason Segel. Yeah, whatever. We know what you're talking about.
Was the simp. But he was the coworker who was bringing her donuts, getting her coffee, doing all this stuff, because he was just a nice guy who always dress shopping with her and all this. He was bending to her whim.
He's blindly hopeful.
Yeah, bending to her whim, hoping that if I am around her enough, if I'm nice enough to her, she will want me. What simps don't realize is that a woman doesn't want a dude that wants her that much. A woman wants a dude who, and I'm not, my 50 years on this planet, I've dealt with enough of y'all to understand a few things. I don't understand you all, so I'm only generalizing. But a woman doesn't want a dude.
What consistently shows up in my life?
Right. Doesn't want a dude who is a yes man.
Oh.
She would want a dude who can tell her no, who can be like, nah, or check her when she's out of pocket. Because they will test you and they will do things to see. They're going to try to poke the bear because they need a little bit of that spark to keep them going. They need to know that you got a little bit of edge.
Yeah.
If you're always, yes, dear, if you're always non-confrontational, if you're always, sure, whatever you want, that to them is a sleeping pill, you know?
Oh, and believe me, it transfers even into marriage.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
You know? And if you're that guy who is, they will like you as a person, they will friend zone you, and that sexual attraction, that sexual attraction is just gone. Is gone. They look at you as like a little brother or an older brother.
Right.
And the thought of being physical or intimate with you fucking disappears. That's the quickest way to kill sexual chemistry is by being a yes man.
Why do you think men claim that simping role? Do you think it's a lack of fatherly advice and love, or you thought that, he was too mothered? Do you think that, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think one thing that they'll see is how a husband caters to his wife.
Okay.
But they don't see the role that he plays as the leader. They just see, oh, mommy wants me to do this, cool, I'm gonna go do it because she asked.
And that's also, even if they don't have that necessarily in their lives, that's what they see projected on the TV.
Oh, they see the rom-coms. They don't see, you know, and you even see even this movie, My Best Friend's Girl, Dane Cook turns into a simp.
Right.
And then he gets the girl. It's like, come on, man. That's not real life. But you'll see these guys who, especially the ones who aren't the captain of the football team, they're not charismatic, they're not the ones who are outgoing. And so when they think to catch the eye of a woman, they have to do and be what they think a woman wants. And so they step outside of themselves to be the nice guy. Oh, she's got this bad boy. She's always talking to me about, number one, if a woman talks to you about other dudes, she's not into you. If she's constantly talking to you about the dudes that hurt her, you've now become her girlfriend. It's that simple. If she's interested in you, she's not talking about other dudes. Or she may bring them up to get a reaction out of you. And if you don't shut that shit off and you start being that listening ear for her to talk about other dudes, you, my friend, have just been friend zoned. And welcome to the simp life. Because that's what you're about to do.
Well, it's definitely simp life when you start catering to it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you don't, like I said, if you don't shut it off, like, oh, wait a minute. You have to make, simps don't make their intentions clear.
Correct.
So what a simp does, or what a man does that he makes the mistake of becoming a simp, is that he doesn't make it known outright, I'm into you. Whether, even if you're just trying to smash, you need to make that known, like, look, come here, girl, I'm into you. You have to make physical contact when it's warranted. You have to make your intentions clear. Like, look, I'm cool. I'm not trying to be your friend. She'll look at you differently because men aren't, and look her dead in her eyes when you say it. Look, I'm not trying to be your friend. I dig you. Listen, what's up? If you can't go there, you're going to get squeezed into that friend zone, and she's going to have the dude who treats her like shit but is slinging good dick still coming through. Yeah. You know?
Probably not even that.
Not even that, but
it's what she knows.
She likes the hint of danger. She likes the excitement.
Yeah.
So you have to bring a little excitement, but you also have to be intentional. And simps can't be intentional, so they do the things like buy her dinner, take her shopping, do all this stuff, and become her pal, spend his money.
Answer the phone when she calls whenever she feels like it.
And
no
here's
matter what time.
And here's the funny thing. Even when you look at the gold diggers, they go after these rich guys. The women who go after these really wealthy guys who spend all this money on them and cater to them, all the ones that I know still have a dude in the background that's breaking her back.
Yeah.
Because she's only in this one for the money. She needs everything else satisfied for her over here. Because she ain't attracted to that dude. She's attracted to his money. She's just better at how she covers up the dude in the background.
Wow.
Her side dude.
Which
and that side dude is either a simp who's not smashing.
Actually, she has two simps.
She's either got two simps or she's got a side dude that could give a shit about her relationship with her gold digger. In his mind, he's like, oh, he's buying all the fancy dinners and all that. Keep it up. Thank you for supporting our relationship. You know?
And even if she ever left that rich dude, she still wouldn't go to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And you translate that into now you have guys who are simps trying to get a girl. You have dudes who are simps in marriage. And you look at guys who are in relationships where their wives run over them. I know guys who've been married and will go months without having sex with their wife because she's like, no, I'll give it to you when I can. Or makes them sleep on the couch. Stay-at-home dads who are like, I heard one guy get referred to as a manny, you know, and I'm like, no, that's your kid's dad. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I got. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't respect
There's
him
a
at
level
all.
of disrespect. Yeah,
Doesn't respect him at all.
You talking about that reminded me, like, especially within my first marriage, it's what happened was like our sex life was. So what happened was, you know, I got to the place where I became the simp because I was, instead of saying, no, this is what you're not doing, I made it on me and started saying, oh, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I need to be this person. Or then I'm trying to become something that I'm not. And then I'm keep presenting a different person to her that's not me.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, no, you need to step up. You need to do X, Y, and Z. This is where I'm showing up and you're not allowing me in. So I became the simp. Yeah. She got what she wanted. So I always say, it's like I took the noose off of her neck. Forgive me for saying that. But I took the noose off of her neck, put it around mine, and gave her the end of the rope.
Yep. And another thing that men do that's very simple, like in the beginning stages, especially now with, we talked about yesterday on the live about online dating. Mm-hmm. And what you'll see is dudes who they'll connect with a woman. They'll reach out and be like, all right, cool, we matched. One of the biggest mistakes you could do is start double texting or forcing a woman's hand. If you say, hey, let's meet up. Let's meet, have a plan. Don't never say, well, what do you want to do? She's immediately turned off. She wants direction. She wants you to say, I'm free Thursday at 5:00. Let's meet for a drink.
Absolutely.
She doesn't want to say, she doesn't want you to say 3 words you should never say to a woman. Let me know. Because they don't want to have to think about when they're going to meet with you. You tell them when you're free and you put the ball in their court. If she's not free Thursday at 5:00, she may say, I'm unavailable. How about this day?
ABCs always be closing.
Dude, always. You know, the other thing is, if a woman's interested in you, and same thing, if a man is interested in you, they will communicate with you.
Correct. There will not be an avoidance of communication.
If you send her a text message and she replies to you 5-6 hours later, the worst thing you could do is reply immediately back. Match her energy.
Correct.
Because if you're too eager, you are going to look like a simp in her mind. Like you're waiting on the phone. She can't even push send before you're typing in already because you see the 3 little dots. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not a game. It's just if you reach out to her and she doesn't reach out to you that day or the next day, she's not interested in you.
There's a cadence. There's a cadence to everything in life.
And text messaging, sending text back and forth in the beginning of your courtship or your meeting, dude, the phone should be saved to create a date. Have the conversation on a date. You don't have conversations via text. No. It should be, cool, how was your day? Cool. I'm free on Tuesday.
Right.
Let's meet up. Done.
Right. Or would you like to have, I'm available to talk this time of the day if you're available. So that way we can if we need to get on the phone.
Get on the phone.
But otherwise,
let's meet up.
Because
if you think about this.
ABCs, bro. ABCs.
Right.
ABCs.
If you talk about everything on a text, when I see you in person, we won't have shit to talk about.
Right.
I don't want to hear about your childhood on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't want to know about everything about your job on the phone. I want us to have meaningful conversation face to face.
Right.
And so if I reach out to you and you don't text me back, I might reach out a second time. Be like, hey, in a couple days, hey, just following up, are you free on this day?
Which is a good word, following up.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I don't know if you got my message or not. They got your message.
Oh, they got it. I'm following up,
Yeah.
trying to plan my week. Are you available this day? If you don't get a response, dude, never pick up the phone again.
Right.
She may reach out to you 3-4 days later, be unavailable. That shit is unacceptable. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And if, ladies, a guy who wants you will find a way to see you. A guy who wants you will figure it out. Even if he's busy, it may not be as frequently as you want it to be, but he will make a way to connect with you, to contact you. He will make a way to get there. If you have been friend zoned in his mind, his efforts are going to be less. Or a smart man knows if his efforts aren't being matched, then he's going to feel like he's been friend zoned.
Right.
And he's not going to, and he's going to move on, or he'll only come around when you reach out.
That's if he's not a simp.
That's if he's not a simp. A simp's going to keep trying and trying and trying because he's infatuated with the beauty of your booty.
He's like Mark Simpson reaching for that reaching for that cupcake, and it kept zapping him. Ow, 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 over and over again. He doesn't. That's all he knows. That's all he lives in, and he's just praying for the day that it's going to change, but it never changes. And he hasn't learned the likelihood of changing his own behavior.
There was a movie out, I don't know if you've ever seen it, called He's Just Not That Into You.
Yeah, of course.
And that applies both ways.
Yeah.
She's just not that into you.
That's what the whole movie is about.
Yeah.
It's about everybody.
Yeah. If you'll know if somebody, just read the signs, but don't mistake the signs. For example, women out there, if you want a high value man, everybody's now the terminology is high value
Right.
man.
They use that over and over.
And it's not about high monetary value man, but just a man who's got a lot of shit going on in his life going for him. He's not going to be available whenever you want him to be.
Right.
He will try to make time for you, but he's not going to be available whenever you want him to be. So just understand that when he reaches out, he's making time. Try to make it fit, or don't just say, no, I'm busy. Give an alternate time that says, well, I can make myself available at this time. So that way he knows, and he can say, okay, let me see what I can do with my schedule. Right. But if you leave it up in the air, he's only going to reach out to you again when he has time in his schedule. If you want him to make time for you, you have to let him know when you have time.
I was going to say, one of the problems that I see a lot of people do, especially with text, is that people live in this open space, this negative space. Like, I don't want to get a text message, and I'm a married man, and it just come from a wife. Hey, what's up? No, you what's going on? What time are you going to be here? What time? I need some directs. I'm going to give you directs when I text you back. I'm going to let you know. It's like, hey, what's going on? How are you feeling after this, this, and this? If I'm asking questions. But like just out there in the atmosphere when you're dating, I think one of the problems is people are on this negative space, and they're just too open-ended. We go back to sales. You're always working on closing. So you have to give specifics. You have to say, you were just talking about direct. Say, hey, listen, this is when I'm available. This is the time that I'm available, this time and this time. Which one works for you? And vice versa. I think men and women both have to work in that atmosphere, because then they'll come to some concrete spaces and they'll say, hey, we're both high value people versus,
and as a man,
one over the other.
Always have a plan.
Yeah.
If she gave you her number, you've won. Like the movie Hitch said, you've already won. It's your job not to mess it up. And women, same way. Dudes are always going to be, if you're an attractive woman, dudes are always going to be interested in you. It's up to you now to reciprocate that interest. Men don't look at you and be like, oh, she's too into me. I've never seen a dude say that unless he's just not interested in you.
Right.
If he's trying to just let you down easy, he'll say, she's too into me. But a guy wants his woman to be into him, plain and simple. But a woman, what I've seen, wants her dude to be into her, without playing his whole hand. You know, it's the difference. If you as a woman play your cards and you're like, dude, I'm showing you right now, I'm into you. For him, he's like, whew, so I don't have to fight through that tough exterior. Now I can just be me.
Right.
And do what I need to do. But a guy can't be like, I'm into you, because a woman, that turns her off.
Crazy, right?
It's insane.
The fact that we are always working.
Yeah.
We're always working. There's no downtime. There's no preserve your energy for this moment. No, you're always working.
Yeah, and like I was saying, dude, always have a plan. Say, I'm planning this first date or this second date. You can be like, here's my thoughts. This is what, and don't be like, it's a surprise. Yeah. Women want to know how they should dress, where they're going, especially if they don't know you. They want to be able to tell their friends. So in case you are a psycho killer, they've already planned. They've already planned to tell their friends where they're going, who they're going with, etc., what time they're going. So once you're in that space of y'all have been dating, then you can be like, girl, dress casual. I'm taking you someplace cool. And she's got it. But she still wants to know that you got it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want you always be saying, well, what do you feel like? What do you feel like doing is the shot of death for your...
The moment you do that, you're done.
You're losing respect.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I always said, and I've done much counseling. I've talked to many therapists, and I've talked to them about this situation. They all say the same thing. So what happens with men is, let's say I come home, and my wife says, what are we having for dinner? I say, I don't know. What do you want?
Game over.
If you're going back and forth, and especially if this is ongoing, it gets worse. It gets worse. She's like, okay, forget it. I'm just, I already, by the time you come home, she's like, I already ate. You know what I mean? You figure it out.
You're better off by saying, well, what do we have for dinner? Well, I was thinking this or this.
Yeah.
You can always give a choice.
Yeah. Or better yet, if you give a choice, let's say I say, we're going to Houston's.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to Houston's. You're like, oh, well, we went to Houston's last week. Why don't you order something different off the menu? You said you wanted to try something new. They go, okay. Just like that. Say what you want to, ladies, but that is where you fall into, and you're going to go, oh, yeah, he's got me.
Right.
Because you want to feel safe.
And not only that, and you guys probably out there aren't going to want to hear this term, but I don't care, because it's true. I don't care how much of a boss you are in your life as a woman. At some point in time, you all want to be led, meaning you don't always want to have to make the decisions. Mm-hmm. In your relationship, the reason why you choose your partner is because you want to feel safe, you want to feel protected, and you want to know he's got this.
Yeah.
And so one way that a man who's not a simp can show that he's got this is be decisive. Because as we know, women are very indecisive. It's hard for them to make decisions. They may make decisions at work all day. In their personal life, should I wear these? That's why if a woman's going on a date and you walk into her bedroom as she's getting ready, mm-hmm. there'll be 5,000 different outfits on the bed because they can't figure out what to wear. You go into a man's room when he's getting ready for his date, he's already pulled out his pair of jeans, T-shirt, jacket, whatever, and he's, all right, I'm good.
Right.
Because we make decisions. A man who can't be decisive and make decisions in a relationship is a simp.
That's it.
It's plain and simple. And so my advice to men, dude, be decisive, be strong in your convictions, be on your purpose. Don't be swayed away from that. Be able to compromise, but just say, hey, look, here's what I'm coming with. Here's what I want from you. Make your intentions known, and then compromise. Don't compromise before you even make your intentions known, because then you're just bowing to her whim, and she's not going to respect that.
And the thing is, do you understand the energy of your why will precede you?
Oh, for sure.
The understanding of yourself and the energy that you have about yourself, and that is what they call big dick energy.
Yes.
I mean,
BDE.
BDE. I mean, it's not like you are swinging across the room and knocking down doors, but at the same time, they feel your energy, they absorb your energy, and they're like, wow, there's something going on with this guy.
They know you're a simp before you open your mouth.
That's correct.
And here's the funny thing. Every woman will test you to see if you're a simp. And that's why you can't even bow to that once.
And understand that test is really just an ongoing pop quiz at random times.
And y'all gonna hate me for saying this. That bowing to her whim is the best way to dry her up.
Yeah.
Like early on. Yeah. You will compromise and be like, all right, I'm gonna bow this time. But there's always that but. If you don't do that but, her level of respect for you changes. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want you to always she doesn't want you to tell her no all the time, but she definitely does not want you to tell her yes all the time.
The alpha female, she's alpha mostly one reason only. She had to become alpha.
And I'll tell you what, in a proper relationship, like in a real relationship, there's no such thing as an alpha female. Because she doesn't want to be the alpha.
No. She had to become the alpha, though.
She's only the alpha because she's either by herself and she's the alpha at work.
Right.
No woman wants to be the alpha at home.
Right.
She's going to test you. My sister's a prime example of that. My sister will test you. She's the alpha. She's very strong-willed. And as a man, will get tested. But she appreciates, and all the quote-unquote alpha women I know, in the hands and the protection of the right guy, reverts right back to that little girl who feels safe. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
Or the ones that never had the opportunity to feel safe.
Yeah, they revert to that. And I'm not calling you little girls, but when you're a little girl is when you feel the most comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so in that mindset, if you're wanting to become that safe young woman, you don't want to deal with the scared little boy. Mm. It's that simple. And so, men out there, the reason why you start simping is because you're afraid of losing her, or because you put this woman on such a pedestal of I could never get her, and you've placed her at a level that's untouchable. I'm going to help y'all out. And I told this to Kenny. If you're scared of a woman because of her beauty, or you're like, oh, she's unattainable and all this, all you got to do is imagine in your mind
that
she poops. Seriously. When you realize that she does everything you do, she's now human like you, and she's just another person, you'll look past everything that you put her on a pedestal for and now treat her as another human being. You're not going to be mean to her, but you're not going to hold her to a standard that's above you. You keep people at a standard above you, you will always be a simp. She puts on her pants one leg at a time, just like you.
Well, if you keep people at a standard above you, that means you have no standards of self.
Exactly. And that's what simps don't think highly of themselves.
Exactly.
And so they put all this energy on somebody else because they don't know how to be confident in themselves.
What you got?
Trying to go hiking.
Oh boy.
But no, this is a great conversation.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where in order for, and we talked a lot about men being simps, because a woman being a simp doesn't really affect a man as much unless he doesn't like her anyway.
Right.
Like you get women out there that go buy dude stuff, that do all this stuff with a dude that doesn't like them. That's a simp. But when you're in a relationship and you're catering to your man, you are not a simp. He likes that. Mm-hmm. But a man that caters to you 100%, y'all call him a simp. Don't mistake a nice guy for a simp. Mm-hmm. Because that nice guy will turn into an asshole real quick and bounce. You know? And so don't punish a man for being good to you. I'm going to say that again. Don't punish a man for being good to you.
Right.
Allow him to be good to you, and he'll treat you well. But when you try to run over him, you're going to test him, because that's what y'all do. Test him all you want. But if you test him too much, a good dude who's an alpha is going to leave you. It's that simple.
Yes. And he doesn't say anything.
No, he's just
gone.
He's taking it in, and he's like, all right, I'm out.
Cool. I got it. This is where we are with this one. Yep.
I had no idea where this
I didn't either.
where this simp category was.
We were
gonna
really
go.
feeling it, though. We were like, let's talk about this separate shit.
Because we're just so sick of just dudes giving us a bad name. Coach, where are they going to find you, man?
They're going to find me on Instagram at Coach KJ Knows, at Coach KJ Knows, and CoachKJ.com. We're going to find you, Doc.
They're going to find me at Lionel Hunt on Instagram. You're going to find me at huntspine.com. You're going to find us both at SOE_podcast. And you will find us both at podcastsoe.com. Find us on YouTube as well at Sippin on Excellence.
That's you, your
YouTube. Watch this. This right here is comical. Catch us every week. Wednesdays, these episodes come out. Catch us every week, Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock.
That's right, Chief.
And we will always be here sharing this knowledge, having a great time, and
a little cocktail.
Sipping on excellence.
That's it.
It's been real, y'all. Catch us next week.
We out.
We out.